Our trip starts in a small village called Fishtown in Leland, Michigan. We had lunch at one of the local sandwich shops and enjoyed the town before boarding the ferry. It took about an hour to get to the island, but the trip seemed quick. After reaching the island, we hiked to our first camp, John Molesky Place, a peaceful meadow on the northeast corner of the island. We set up camp, had dinner, and set off for our first exploration, Lake Manitou via Fisk's Landing. I didn't think to shoot video until stumbling upon a deer getting a drink at the water's edge. From this point on, I took lots of videos. We're hiking along Lake Manitou here, through the woods. It's really cool in here. Isn't this awesome, Heather?
It's awesome.
It's a huge lake. It's a lot bigger than you would expect. Great vantage point to sit here. It's really shallow. Kids would just love it out here, but they said there's a lot of swimmer's itch. So you got to be careful of that. We're heading away from Lake Manitou back into the woods. And it's getting kind of dark. There's a ton of micro bear in here. Right, Heather?
Right.
Lots of micro bear, aka chipmunk. We are entering back into Paul Molesky Place. And right now it is about 8:45 p.m. Sunday night, July 10th, our anniversary. Here we are. Home sweet home. It is the morning of day 2 on North Manitou Island. And Heather's not happy because she looks beautiful, of course, but she's not happy because she hasn't done her makeup and all of her grooming. And what are we going to have for breakfast, Heather?
Scrambled eggs and bacon.
Last night it rained quite a bit, on and off.
Maybe talking pointed at yourself.
She can't get away from the camera. The camera loves you, sweetheart. Camera loves you.
Turn it off, please.
After this morning's journal, our video journal. This is our freeze-dried scrambled eggs. And just poured a 3/4 cup of boiling water in this pouch. Next thing we're going to do is seal it up and let it sit for about 10 minutes. And the true test of if this is good or not is about to occur. This is 22 grams of protein, so it should get us a good start for the day. Eggs and bacon. Pretty good. We're getting ready to go on our day hike to the potholes.
Yeah!
Yeah!
Yeah.
That's the kind of excitement we're looking for.
Let's go.
Let's go.
We're spadooding.
We're spadooding. We're going to leave our tent right there where it was, and we're going to get to the trail, and then we're going to hike until we find the 2 rocks. We hear the legend that says when you get to the 2 rocks in the trail, you head straight north, and then you'll come right to the potholes. Alright, this is the first little going towards Swanson's old grade. Gonna see the pole bridge here shortly as we come up to this swampy area here. Pretty cool wetland. Here's the little bridge. Stream going in there. Come around this way and you've got this big vast wetland. Very
Lots
cool.
of bugs.
There's not a lot of people on the island this time around, which is great. When we were at the Manitou Lake yesterday, there's like nobody there. Felt like we were on the moon. A beautiful moon with water. Take a quick stop here. We saw this big old rock. Really cool rock. And we saw this shelter look like someone built. Back to the trail. Onward and upward. Oh, and by the way, this right here is my cobweb stick. When you're the first one on the trail in the morning, there's cobwebs that go back and forth. And if you don't have this cobweb stick like this, you get cobwebs in your face. It's just annoying. Or you make sure that you're not the first one in line when you're walking, when you're hiking.
Like me.
Love it when you come to a clearing like this. Nice little meadow. This is kind of a little one. Good place to camp, these types of places. This is Stormer Camp, I believe, or unless we're getting close to it. Going to be coming up on the truck junkyard, truck graveyard here shortly. Here's the sign for Stormer Camps. Bam. Sit and take a rest. Well, let's follow Heather into the great unknown. No, this is the truck graveyard. There's all kinds of truck parts here. This is neat right here. This is a truck from Indiana, it looks like.
But here it says it's Dearborn, Michigan.
Dearborn, Michigan. Okay. There's one from Detroit. All kinds of trucks in here. Pretty cool, Heather, huh? Love it. Back to the trail. Alright, Davenport Camp. I don't know why, but every year there seems to be more rusty junk sitting here at this sign. That chain wasn't here last year.
Maybe people find it and bring it.
Yeah, it must be some kind of a tradition to bring your junk to Davenport Camp.
Well, they might find it out here.
Or they might find it there,
And bring
yeah.
it over.
Yeah, it's pretty cool here. It's kind of dark and scary in here, though. There's that dark and scary tree in there. We've walked 1.5 miles from Paul Molesky Place to Davenport Camp. I'd say we got about a half mile until we get to the two rocks. Alright, let's keep going. Coming up this grade here, they've got wood planks to stop erosion here. This is quite a steep hill, but this is part of the old grade here on the north part of the island. Are you stopping? Yeah, it's quite a big valley right there. We're getting up in elevation here. Alright, so we've come upon the two rocks here, and it appears someone has made an arrow on this side of the trail saying this is the way to go, and you can see a little trail started there. That is looking north in the direction of the potholes. So we're going to take a look here on the map, open it up. This is where we're at right here, we believe. I believe that is the right spot where we're at. We're going to have to go north. Bam, potholes. Right there on the north end of the island. We calculated this distance here is a little over 1 mile, but this is our first venture to the potholes. Wish us luck. And we're headed north, as my compass clearly shows. Follow this trail. We'll see how long this trail stays pretty decent, but this is actually a
a nice trail. I thought we were going to have to cut through the middle of jungle, but so far so good. I think this is the 7th or 8th time we've been on the island, and we have not been to the potholes yet. So this will be our first time, and I guess they say they're pretty impressive. There's 3 really deep sinkholes. So we've made it to the potholes in record time. We were hoping to get to the potholes by 12, and it's 11:22. So that trail really helped us out. And there's one of the potholes there. Whoa, deep down. And I think this is the center one. As I said, there's 3. There's a trail that goes off that way, and there's a trail that goes off that way. So I think we're going to head this way first. We're hiking down this steep ridge here. We've got pothole over there. We've got pothole over there. We're slowly making our way down this really steep ridge here. Almost like these roots are almost like steps to go down. It's really cool. Heather's carefully navigating her way down this steep ravine.
My shoes untied.
Her shoes untied. You can't have that. We got to fix that right now. We're getting close to the bottom of the sinkhole now, and that's what it looks like.
Pothole.
Just a pothole. You can see it's marshy and muddy down there. We've come a long way down too, haven't we?
Yes.
I mean, this thing is 400 feet probably at the minimum of descent. What a great hike though. But I'll tell you what, coming back up this thing is going to be a chore and a half. Here we are at the very bottom of the sinkhole. There's the little mud spot there. Still going down just a little bit here. As we come around here, getting into some mud. Mud crossing. Then back up, 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 and up. Well, we hiked all the way. We're still at the potholes. We hiked all the way to the east and all the way to the west along the ridges. I mean, some serious ascents and descents. Got all the way as far as we can go in both directions, and the trail just kind of petered out in both directions and didn't quite make it to the lake. But we can see the lake from where we're sitting, and it's a little bit far off, but through the trees we can see the lake. So we don't feel defeated, do we? No, we made some wise choices, because in order to get to the lake you've got to go down a hill like boom this steep, and there's no trail. So we figure we're going to stop right back here at the trailhead where we came out, cooking up some, what are we cooking up here for our choice? We've got fettuccine alfredo with chicken, meal for 2, boiling our water on the stove. We did see one hiker just come out here, and he said, I wasn't expecting to see anybody out here. And I said, we were thinking the same thing. Kind of a remote part of the island, and it's a beautiful one, so it was worth coming out here. Mm-hmm. We're seeing little chipmunks running all around us here. Oh, there's one in the trail over there. He's gone now. But they're sneaking around us. They're trying to get our trail mix. Little thieves.
I'm not gonna give them any though.
Not gonna give them any though. Staying hydrated.
Mm-hmm.
We've used up a full Camelback. Heather did, and now we're on to the platypus. Well, we just finished up our lunch. and we're leaving the potholes. Right now we're going to head back to Paul Molesky Place, back to our camp, pack up our tent, and be on our way south, back through the village, the Rangers village. Get some water and head south to South Cherry Orchard, where we're going to spend tonight. Real close to the lake, and we'll have a lot of good time on Lake Michigan for dinner tonight. All right, we just got back to the trail here, and my memory had told me there were two big rocks, not two little rocks like that. And I said, I remember being here before and there were two huge rocks like those two right there. Those two are it. I just happened to notice that. And so, anyway, I'm not crazy. We found the rocks, the big rocks that were in my brain. All right, on our way. We're back at Davenport Camp, and it looks like the tradition is if you find some kind of metal piece, you take it and you put it back up at the sign. Set it down. That's kind of the tradition that I'm seeing happening here. So I've done my part, and next time you can do yours. So we're on our way back, heading through Stormer Camp here, and the truck graveyard, and this is on the other side of the truck graveyard. We've never seen this before. My eye just happened to catch this panel van back here, and look at this. This tree grew up right up through this thing here. It's the American Sawmill Machinery Company. I don't know what this piece of machinery is, something from a sawmill perhaps. But that tree just grew up right through it. There's another big truck over here, sitting back here. And we've walked past this quite a few times in the years we've been here and never saw it back here. So I'm glad it caught my eye. We should bring this back to the garage and see if we can put an engine in it and start her up, drive down the road with it. Hey Heather. I think we might be on the Lost Island because I found a hatch right here. I think if you just lift up this hatch right here, you'd discover something underneath there. This way, Heather. And the old junkyard truck graveyard is over in that direction, on the other side of the trail here. We've been to that a few times before. Alright, so we made it back to the camp, and we're just chilling out in the shade, cooling off, getting a little rest from our weary travels. Our feet are hurting. We got sore tootsies. So, time to rest our weary bones and get ready to hike again, because the day's not over. Alright, we've packed up, loaded up, heading south. Next destination is the ranger station to get some water, and then we'll keep heading south for a couple more miles until we get to South Cherry Orchard, where we're going to spend the next 2 nights. We're approaching the ranger station. This barn up here is the maintenance barn. We're going to be passing a lot of the old buildings here. This is a really neat trail to take right here. We've got all these old houses and buildings that used to be permanent residences many years ago. You're not allowed to go in them, but you can come right up to it here and see on the inside there how intriguing that is. We
just want to go in there and explore a little bit of the history of the island. Be neat to know who lived here and what their lives were like. And right over there is the Rangers' lodging. The maintenance guy told us when we got off the boat that the Rangers were not here this week. They're on South Manitou, but they may be stopping by for a visit, so we still needed to follow the rules. We're on a secondary trail here, and it's like landmine with trees down. Once a trail becomes a secondary trail, the rangers don't want to maintain it anymore, and they just, tree goes down, leave it down. Discourage anyone from coming through here anymore. They've got another trail that's farther inland a little bit that they're trying to get people to use. When we first got on the island, the maintenance guy who was given our orientation mentioned that. Kind of said, this trail here is not very easy. It's filled with downed trees. You might want to take this one. But this is the one that goes to where we're going, so we're taking it. This is the foundation of the old schoolhouse right here. Not much left, but the rock foundation right here. So we made it. We got to the lake. We're gonna have our dinner, right?
Uh-huh.
And the water level is really high, so, and it's got a lot of yuckiness, so I'm not gonna go in it. And we're gonna enjoy the biting flies, right?
Right.
So we just got into our tent. We were sitting here for about 5 minutes, and we heard this steps out there, and I thought it was just a chipmunk, so I was just kind of waiting to see it, and didn't think I was gonna. But then it went from one side of the tent to the other, and when I looked up to see it was that deer. We just saw that deer there. It was unbelievable, and it kind of walked around, looked at us a few times, didn't even mind seeing us. This is like our crazy time. It's almost 9 o'clock, still light out. We are sleeping under the stars tonight with our tent. We've got a tent that has a full screen ceiling. So we've got the rain fly on halfway. Just in case it rains, then I can run out and pull it up. But having a good time. We were down at the beach tonight. It was really buggy, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Not fun. But in the tent here, it's nice and cool and no bugs, right?
No bugs.
So, well, that was cool to see that deer. Good night. See you in the morning.
Good night.
Well, good morning. It's day 3, and we've already had our breakfast and packed up our day packs and gone about 2 miles. This morning we saw a garter snake, and that was pretty cool. Right now we're heading in to see the cemetery. It's just a fascinating place to go around and look at the names of the people and the years they were born and died, and some of them have stories about that they lived on the island, and just the rich history of North Manitou Island is fascinating. Heading up to Bernice right now. This is an interesting house. Just a beautiful spot right here. It's real close to the beach. Come around on the back porch here. And these outbuildings are really interesting. Come around down here. Outhouses. See what's inside one of these here. Oh, there's the outhouse. Gotta go to the bathroom. That's where you went back in the day, isn't it?
Yep.
Pretty cool. That was the men's. This is the double pooper. So if you got two people that gotta go to the bathroom at the same time, you just head into the double potty. Look at these concrete steps. Last year, we saw on our map this car. Here, let's take a look on this map.
So we're
here.
on the opposite side of the trail.
Yeah.
We're on the beach side.
Right there is this car. And we looked and looked. This is where we're at, by the way. There was Bernique's. We looked and looked and couldn't find it for a long time last year, so we just gave up on it. And lo and behold,
We were probably on that side of it.
Heather walked right by and
This
said,
side, you can see it.
there it is. So we finally found the car, the mysterious car. This is the Bernique's car. It was a black sedan, probably in its day a very classy vehicle, because Mr. Bernique was a classy individual from Illinois who knew how to dance pretty well, as legend has it. Pretty cool. Time to take a little break in the shade right here and apply some sunscreen. We're going to be kind of heading along the beach from here, so we're going to be out in full sun a lot. And it's supposed to be in the 90s today, right?
Maybe not here.
Maybe not here. But it feels hot. And there's supposed to be a storm, but we got nothing but blue skies, so wispy clouds. It is a little windier today, which is good. Keeps the bugs away. Feels very comfortable out. And it looks like we have a nice view along our route today. Just beautiful. The water is super clear, clean, and calm today compared to yesterday. This is going to be a nice little hike along the shore here. Heather heard some coyote last night.
2 nights ago.
Huh?
2 nights ago.
2 nights ago. And we saw some coyote footprints walking along the beach just back there. So keep our eyes open. I don't think they'll be out in the midday like today, but maybe this afternoon or evening when we're having dinner on the other side of the island. Keep our eyes open. One year we did see coyote tromping around on the beach. Well, we came as far as we could come. This is where they close off the area beyond this point for the piping plover nesting area. So we're going to turn up this way and head back into the forest and cut around it and end up on the other side of Dimmock's Point, where we'll end up at Miller's Beach. Gotta follow a heading of straight south, and it looks like I'm following some footprints. I can see a little bit of disturbed leaves here. As long as I kind of head straight south, we ought to be looking pretty good.
There's a big stick right there.
Wow. So this is Miller's Beach. We're gonna head down this sand bluff here, straight over that way to the beach. Are you ready to hike down this steep?
Definitely windier, white clouds over here.
Yeah.
White caps.
Whole different ball game over here. It was nice and calm over on the other side, and on this side of the island we got white caps going.
That's where the wind's coming from.
There we can see electrical lines all along the shore here. Some of them are fallen. A lot of them here are still standing, but you can see these still have the electrical line hanging on it. About ready to stop for lunch?
Yeah, right up over here.
I can carry him. Isn't this fun?
It's fun!
We got no beach to walk on because it's just a straight up bluff right down to the water, pounding on the shore. Got this massive rock up there. Kind of want to swim to it, but it's a little too windy. It's like a sandstorm out here, isn't it, Heather? We got to get quick, get past this right here.
It's fun, but it's microdermabrasion. Natural microdermabrasion.
Heather says we're getting our microdermabrasion. What's that mean? It's a way to make you pretty. So we'll talk about that later. We made it to Donner's Point here. Peak of Donner's Point. But the winds are picking up. We're just leaving Donner's Point. Got our shoes all, feet all fixed up. Heather rewrapped her blistered toe. And a little over a mile to go, and hopefully we'll be able to find the trail that leads up to the lookout point, going to the trail that leads inland and back to camp. So we'll keep our eyes open. This up here, by the way, is Old Baldy. We're not going to make our way up there. We're going to bypass it and just look at it as we go by it. But it's a real high point on the island, and apparently it's all sand. Trying to stay out of our way. We won't bother you guys. Well, we found our way inland to the trail, so we're going to sit down and have some beef stew for dinner, for lunch, actually. Yep. A late lunch. It's about 2:45 right now. And we're letting that soak up the hot water while we sit here and enjoy the beautiful view of Lake Michigan. It's pretty windy, but at least there's no bugs. Well, we had our lunch and we're saying goodbye to the west shore of North Manitou Island here. Bye-bye, Lake Michigan. We'll see you again on the other side. Heading up the hill, back into the forest. All right, we're approaching Fat Annie's here. We're going to just take a look at the sign and jump in there for a quick look at Fat Annie's. There's the sign right there. And entering into Fat Annie's right here, I just want to take a look at this big tree that's in there. That big tree right there. Several years ago, I remember we sat right under that tree, right in there, and ate lunch. Let's go back out to the trail. We saw that Stormer Place, the historic site, the historic trail. We kept going, and this is that trail right there leading south into Stormer Place. We just came from this trail, and this trail goes south. So this is something we want to check out next time. We're coming back up to where we split off for the cemetery right there. And we're heading back to towards the village. Right there's the sign. All the way to the village would be 3.1 miles, but we've got about a mile from here on our way back to our tent.
I think about 2.
About 2 miles, actually. Right over here to our right, it's like a wall. This hill right here just goes straight up. It's huge. It's crazy huge. Barely see the top of it, just goes straight up. Heather spotted a spring peeper. They're the little green ones with the X on their back. Really cute, isn't it? Moving. He's gonna hop pretty soon if I get any closer. I'm getting really close here. Ooh, you can see the texture of his skin, how he's breathing. That's cool. Well, it's the evening of day 3, and we got back from our long hike around the south end of the island, and then we moved our tent over to a different spot here. We're a little bit closer to the lake, and isn't it beautiful here, Heather?
That's beautiful.
It's great. We're about 300 feet from the water, which is regulation, and we are now boiling some water for lasagna tonight. Freeze-dried lasagna. Good stuff. Once we got here, I took a run from here into the ranger station. It's about a mile in there. Great run, just absolutely loved it, and want to do it again someday. But hoping to have a good dinner, and then we'll go sit out on the beach for a little while tonight.
Waiting for the water boil.
Waiting for the water to boil. And let's see. Oh my goodness, we got boiling water. Time for some lasagna. A lot of people camp here. You can see the grass is all matted down. Little trail right through there. Takes you out to the lake. Couldn't ask for a more calm, beautiful evening for our last night here on the island. I didn't think we were gonna see a deer tonight too, after seeing it. After seeing a deer last night come around our tent so close, and so like they weren't scared of us at all. It happened again tonight. Unbelievable. Time for bed.
Night night.
Had to get up to go pee. Good morning. It's morning number 4, 13th of July, and it's a beautiful morning. The sun's coming up, and we're cooking some scrambled eggs for breakfast today. We've got some freeze-dried scrambled eggs. These are pretty good. And getting ready to pack up camp. Head back to the dock and wait for the boat. Right now it is about 8 o'clock. Got to be on the dock at 12, so we've got 4 more hours to enjoy the morning. Alright, let's do a little recap on the map here, where we've been these past 3 days. Alright, day 1. Got to the dock, off the ferry. Headed up north this way, past those ruins. Up here to Paul Molesky Place, where we set up camp, had dinner. Then we hiked down this way to Lake Manitou, where we jumped in this little trail to Fisk's Landing. What a beautiful, beautiful setting. Came down south to the boathouse, took a look at that, saw a couple deer really close. That was really neat. Back up. Right back up here to Paul Molesky Place that night, where we slept there. That was day 1. Then day 2, we woke up, just packed a day pack with some lunch. Came along here, went across the pole bridge, past Stormer Camp and the logging trucks, very interesting. Past Davenport Camp, and we found this trail here. We had historic trail leading up to the potholes, which actually was pretty well beaten path. Through here, got up to this pothole, I believe it was this one. There was a trail heading west and a trail heading east, so we took the east trail across, up and down, really steep ravines, back, and then we ended up going this way. On both ends, the trail just kind of petered out and disappeared into thick brush and forest, and never actually did end up coming out to the lake at all. So we came back to where this trail came to a T right there, ate our lunch, then we just headed back along the same trail here, back to Paul Molesky Place right here, packed up camp, and headed down south this way. Topped off our water bottles here at the ranger station, came down this historic trail where we passed the town and all the buildings, past the old schoolhouse foundation, down here to South Cherry Orchard, where we set up camp on the west side in the orchard, and then went out and had a dinner on the beach and went to sleep there. Next morning, woke up, it was day 3, got our day packs on, headed south where we've got to turn the map over. Down south, first stop was the cemetery where we stopped for a little break. Had an energy bar, came down this way, saw Bernique's, and found this car which we could not find at all last year. Heather spotted it. Kept going south until we came to the piping plover boundary. Say that 5 times fast. Piping plover. Cut in through the thick, dense forest. I believe we kind of came to this little V area right here. Came out into the dunes on the Miller Beach. As we headed west, the beach got narrower and narrower until right here the bluff came down and the sand and the rocks were just falling in the wind, and literally we had to take our boots off and just walk right here along the crashing waves. We got down to Donner's Point and the wind was picking up and the skies were turning dark, getting a little concerned that we might be stuck out in the storm. So we filled up on water through our filters, came back up through this big dune, we didn't go to Old Baldy because of the weather. We just kind of looked at it as we walked by. Once we got to this point, it wasn't as bad at all. It kind of brightened up, dark clouds went away, and made it all the way to this lookout point where we stopped up on the top of the bluff, climbed up to the top for lunch. A really beautiful spot overlooking the lake right there. Then we headed back this way past Fat Annie's, discovered these trailheads that go down to Stormer Place. We'll end up going there next year, I think, or a following year. And back up north all the way to South Cherry Orchard. And I went across to the east side of this trail, and the camp that we're at right now was empty. So we moved camp across to this side a little bit closer to the beach, and that's where we're at right now. So the next thing we need to do is just sit and rest a little bit, pack up camp, and head back to the dock. So altogether, we ended up doing about 40 miles of hiking around this island. We wouldn't have been able to do it had we not done the day packs. The full-on backpacks are just way too heavy and cumbersome to get through some of the middle of the forest where we're not going on the main trails. Great trip. Loving this beach. Sunny. Good temperatures. Heather's itching her bug bites though.
Ouch.
Ouch. E.T. phone home. It's 9:30 now. We're going to pack up and head back to the ranger station Talking to the maintenance guy yesterday, he told us there's an old runway back there with some ruins of old vehicles. So we want to get up there in time to take a look at that before the boat comes. All right, so that's how you do it. Camp is packed up. Got the tent put away, got the backpacks on, and we're ready to hike our last mile. Let's go do this. We've come to the old runway where the planes used to land in here, and we found this big old roller. They used to use that to flatten the runway and keep it flat, not bumpy. Huge cut down tree, old tree here, but look at the size of this trunk. My goodness. Ooh, and there's a snake right there, a big one. See it, Heather? This is where you find snakes, right in here. This is, yeah, right in the wood pile. Go get it.
It's not that big, it's going in the wood.
Go pick it up.
I can't, it went in the wood.
Oh, you're just scared of snakes now. But look how huge this tree trunk was. I mean, it's so big I can't even fit it in the frame of the camera. Found this old house up here on the runway, overlooking the runway. Just lounging here at the Ranger Station Park under the shade of this big tree, waiting for the ferry boat to come back. Enjoying the cool breeze, beautiful view, the beautiful company, right? And a couple snacks. That boat's moving fast. It's gonna get here real quick. Are you ready to go back to the mainland?
I'm ready.
I'm ready. Let's go to Fish Town and get us a sandwich.